Fractions! This is a review of part 3. In today's lesson, students will review how to add or subtract fractions with unlike denominators. Fractions with what? Very good. Let's review how to add or subtract fractions with unlike denominators, okay? So, in the middle of your fractions, you're either going to see addition or subtraction. So we're going to write to add or subtract. Fractions with unlike denominators. So, what is a denominator? Say for me. Say, fraction. Numerator top, denominator bottom. Say it again. Ready? Here we go. Say, fraction. Numerator top, denominator bottom. So, when the denominators are unlike, it means the bottom numbers are not the same. Okay? So what's the denominator here? You have 8, and the denominator here is 2. And this reads 7/8 minus 1/2. Can you subtract these fractions? Is the answer 6/6? No. What do you have to do? You have to make the denominators the same. And how do you do that? Well, step number 1 is multiply the denominators. Write this. Multiply the denominators. So that would mean I'm going to actually multiply 8 times 2 to make the denominators the same. Step 2 is I'm going to rewrite the fractions with the same denominator. Okay, remember what I'm doing with these fractions here? I'm subtracting. So I'm going to put a subtraction sign too. All right, multiply the denominators, and we're going to rewrite them. What's 8 times 2? 8 times 2 is, what's 8 times 2? 8 times 2 is 16. Okay, so now the fractions are both in 16ths, okay? The next step to get the numerators is cross multiply. What are you going to do? Cross multiply. So when we cross multiply, start with the fraction on the right. The fraction where? On the right. And we say, what is 2 times 7? 2 times 7 is what? 2 times 7 is 14. Very nice. Okay. And what is 8 times 1? 8 times 1 is 8. Very good. 8 times 1 is 8. Okay. So, now we have 14/16 minus 8/16. Do they have the same denominator? Yes. Now here's where you're going to have to look. What operation is between them? What is this? I want you to circle it. What operation is this? This is subtraction. Okay. So the next step would be either add or subtract the numerators. It depends on what's in the middle. Sometimes you'll see addition, sometimes you'll see subtraction. Okay, the top numbers. You have 14, take away 8. Let's go ahead and subtract, count back. Say 14, count backwards using touch math. 13, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6. So I'm going to write the fraction right here. The numerator is 6. And what is the denominator again? The denominator is 16. So we have 6/16. Okay? You must ask yourself, which is going to be step number 5. Can you simplify or divide the numerator and the denominator by the same number? Can this be simplified? 6/16. Okay? 6/16. So if the fraction is 6/16, the first thing you always ask yourself is, are these even numbers or are they multiples of 2? Are they both even? Yeah, an even number ends in 2, 4, 6, or 8. So if they're both even, you could divide by 2, all right? Another way of looking at it is, on the multiplication chart, where is 6/16? What column do you see 6 over 16? Look at column 2, right here, column 2. This is column 2, right? You see 6 and you see 16. Is that right? 6 over 16. So if you divide by 2, which is the factor, you're going to get what? You're going to move your fingers over to the left and you're going to get 3/8. See how that works? 6/16 reduces or simplifies to 3/8. So what are you going to divide both the numerator and the denominator by? You're going to divide by 2 over 2, which gives you a simplified fraction. Okay? You have 6 divided by 2 is 3. And 16 divided by 2 is 8. So, in simplest form, your fraction is 3/8. Go ahead and write that down. Okay, read and write the first example. It says 11/12 minus 3/4. Okay, so do these fractions have a common denominator? Do they? No, they have unlike denominators. They have what? Unlike denominators. What's the denominator here? The denominator, you guys need to remember what denominator is, right? Say fraction. Numerator top, denominator bottom. Say it again. Say fraction. Numerator top, denominator bottom. Okay, so the denominator here is 12. What's the denominator here? 4. Are they the same number? No. So can we subtract these fractions right now? No. What do we have to do to make them have a common denominator? We have to multiply the denominators together. Okay? So 12 times 4. Anybody 12 times 4? That's a tricky one, right? What is 12 times 4? We're going to rewrite these fractions. First, you can tell me, what is 12 times 4? It is 48. That's right. So we rewrite these with the same denominator. Now it's 48. From yesterday, remember, we're subtracting. Pay attention to what sign is in the middle. You're subtracting. How do we find the numerators now? Well, now that we have the same denominators, we can cross multiply. Do what? Cross multiply. Start with the fraction on the right. The fraction where? On the right. Tell me, what is 4 times 11? 4 times 11 is 44. Very good. And what about 12 times 3? 12 times 3, come on people, 12 times 3? 36. Good. So now that the denominators are the same, we can subtract the fractions. Say, same, same, same. So 48 is going to be the new denominator right here. Okay. Now we have to subtract the numerators. You may have forgotten how to subtract 44 minus 36. So remember, can you take 6 from 4? No. So you have to go ahead and borrow, right? Borrow 1, this becomes a 14, and this is now a 3. 14 take away 6, let's count back. 14, 13, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8. And 3 take away 3 is 0. So we're going to say that 44 minus 36 is 8. What is it? It's 8. Let's look at the new fraction. The fraction is 8/48, isn't it? 8/48. Can you simplify this fraction? Let's look at the multiplication chart. So when you simplify a fraction or divide, you can use a multiplication chart. Take a look at which column do you see 8 over 48? Which column? Look, 8 over 48. Let's look at column 8. Do you see 48 in this column? It's right here, right? So 8 over 48. If the factor is 8, which means if you divide by 8, 8 divided by 8 is 1. 48 divided by 8 is 6. So by looking at 8 over 48, if you move all the way over to the left, you get 1/6. So what does that mean? What do we have to divide by? What's the factor? Divide by 8. So if you divide the numerator by 8 and the denominator by 8, you get 1 what? 1/6. And that is the fraction in simplest form. Write that down. Let's do an addition problem for our last example. Read it with me. It says 2/3 plus 3/12. Do these fractions have a common denominator? No, right? How do you make these fractions have a common denominator? What do? You multiply the denominators, and then you're going to rewrite them. Remember, this problem is addition. What is 3 times 12, or 12 times 3? Remember from the last example? It's 36. Very good. Okay. Now we have to find the numerators by, what are you going to do? Cross multiply. Very good. You're going to cross multiply. Start with the fraction on the right. What is 12 times 2? 12 times 2 is, come on, 12 times 2. What is it? 24. Good. And then you're going to multiply 3 times 3. What's 3 times 3? It's 9. Very good. Okay. So let's add these fractions. Now that they have the same denominator, you're going to go ahead and say with me, say, same, same, same. Good. Now we have to add these numerators. We need to add 24 plus 9. So 9 plus 4, remember it's 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Carry the 1. 1 plus 2 is 33. So what is the numerator now? It's 33. Let's rewrite the fraction as 33 divided by 36, or 33 36ths. Can you simplify this fraction? What do you think you're going to divide by? You're going to divide the numerator and the denominator by what? Let's look on the multiplication chart. Where do you see 33 over 36? Which column? Which column? 33 over 36. Look towards the bottom. You see it anywhere? What about column 3? Go all the way down. What do you see? Do you see 33? Do you see 36? Very good. If you divided by the factor of 3, you would get what as your new fraction? 11 over 12. Watch. 33, if you divide the top, which the numerator and the denominator, by 3, you're going to get 33 divided by 3 is 11. 36 divided by 3 is 12. So your answer is 11/12. Write that down.